And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. This is the latest we've ever gotten started. 10 minutes after 6 o'clock. We're never this late getting the show started, but a little bit of internet issues. We got that squared away, but I know some of you thought maybe it must have been Preston being involved as late as he always is, but no, it's not Preston's fault, but it usually it is, but it's not tonight. A lot to talk about. Obviously, Brian Kelly met with the media, came out the chute, immediately addressed the Greg Brooks situation. Of course, LSU men play tonight, LSU women at Missouri tomorrow night. We get Jay Johnson on Friday and a couple of players. Of course, the start of the season starts next Friday and Valentine's weekend. Baseball is about to get uncorked. Softball, of course, as well. Gymnastics underway. And what do we have? March 8th, we've got the start date for spring football. So that is right at a month away. So everything is happening in LSU sports. And, oh, by the way, I didn't realize it till last night or this morning that today's signing day. So uneventful, isn't it, buddy? Welcome in.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough. For all those folks that we used to see at the Bayou Recruiting Bash, I don't know how many years. I think it went, 30 or 40 years? I forgot what it was, 25, whatever it was. But that was a lot of fun with Donardo and all the coaches. And still remembering Sam Montgomery on TV at 10:30 and the place going wild.
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Joe McKnight. He cut a fart in the room and went to USC, and everybody went crazy. And, of course, at the time in that class, that four-year class where McKnight went to USC, LSU ended up winning a natty. So, but obviously things have changed so much, Mike. I never thought it would be this crazy that there was nobody even considered to be signed. LSU did everything, 23 on the original date, 13 early enrollees, 16 in the portal. Basically, your buddy Glenn Gilbo asking him about the next transfer portal time frame, and doesn't seem like there's going to be too much action unless somebody's really, really good and wants to come here. So a little football talk, baseball on the horizon. Softball starts on Friday, women's and men's basketball, and unfortunately the men's basketball is having some real problems with any kind of momentum. They did beat Arkansas, who I did watch Saturday night go in and beat Kentucky. That was a big win for Calipari. But and then of course Super Bowl.
What did we set the over and under at on wins? 3
or 4, and
you took the over, didn't you?
No, I said 3 or 4. I mean, I didn't say no. I said 3 or 4. I mean, after they beat Arkansas, you might have said 4 or 5. But right now, this team is struggling with a lot of areas.
Yep. Y'all, you guys do us a favor. Please hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. And by the way, you might have missed it. We did a 9:30 a.m. show this morning. Me and Emily Ward and Gary Reedus joined us on the back end of Inside LSU Women's Basketball. I think it was a good show. We talked about Missouri and, of course, the Vols. LSU plays Tennessee twice this season. We'll be in the PMAC on Sunday, and we touched upon that. But LSU still going, number 6 in the country, only 1 loss. And I think, it's crazy the next 2 weeks of games, but still only 1 loss and at South Carolina. And but, man, if you can I don't know if it's going to be at Kentucky or at Texas. Do they drop one somewhere? We kind of set the over-under there for 3 losses for the LSU women. But they could very well run the table. And if they do that, or even if they just have 1 loss, whether it's up in Lexington or in Austin, I still think they got a chance at a much higher seed than they've ever had. So
yeah, 23-1, 8-1 in the conference. I was looking it up. We said 13-3. My goodness, they'd have to go and lose 2 of the last 7 games in the conference. But we know how good the conference is, and we also know once the start of spring football at March 8th, we will be talking about women's basketball in the playoffs. We'll be talking about baseball already a month in, talking about spring football, gymnastics, all the other things. So a lot going on. But I got to tell you, Mike, on my show, and I think this show particularly, it's not the passion, because I do think that the women's basketball program is soliciting a lot more interest and views, as you well know, than the men's. And the only way that that happens if they start beating people. Now, they got a little bit of momentum last year and finished 9-9, but same old problems again. Do you have enough NIL money? John Brady was on a couple weeks ago saying, you got to have a pro. You got to have a guy that's going to be a pro player, and maybe another guy or two that's close to that, and a couple of role players. There's not a pro on that LSU team right now. And so the other problem is that when you get guys like Corey Chest and other guys who get developed, same thing happened with Cordell Ward. They come up and they get snatched up.
But if you're in on a pro player like Cenac, is he a pro player? All right. Are you prepared to do $1 million a year?
Well, not when Tillman Fertitta.
But is that the going rate for a guy like that? And are you ever going to be in that ballpark?
Tough.
You know, and then it's the old argument, you know, is that it's a chicken or the egg thing with Matt McMahon. You know, how many donors that are willing to spend NIL and want the men's basketball program to get to the next level? How many of them are motivated right now with Matt McMahon? How do you know? Do you have to? What kind of sell job do you have to do if you're with Tiger Traditions or if you're Scott Woodward to sell? You know, some money to sink big dollars into men's basketball if they're not buying into it and they don't have any excitement towards that product. Flip side is if he has a marquee player like you're talking about, you know, I don't know. It's tough. And so this is the way I see it. He's got a really nice high school class he signed, but the transfer portal is going to be big for him.
And he's going to probably lose some in the portal.
Right.
Which is going to Victorious Miller could very well be.
But if you don't go out and make a big splash in the portal and have some kid that's like that, you know, everybody's been watching on TV for somebody else that's an incredible player, how do you create enthusiasm for the men's basketball fan to look forward to next year? How do you have any excitement in the offseason where someone's counting down? I mean, I remember when I was younger in the 80s. I mean, when I was a teenager, I mean, I was counting down the days to men's basketball season, buying all the Street and Smiths and everything I could off the newsstand. Nobody's doing that anymore. The interest is waning, and I don't know what the answers are. Again, it's a chicken or the egg.
By the way, LSU playing at Georgia tonight at 8. Look, we don't like to go against LSU in any live sporting event because we understand our egos getting in place. You're going to watch that live. But with LSU men's basketball, we had such a schedule. And quite frankly, Mike, I just hope I'm watching LSU playing Georgia past 9:15. If they lay an egg in the first half and they're down 45-30, people are going to turn it off. My phone blew up after the debacle against Texas last weekend.
Well, and here's the other part. It's like some of the excuses that want to be made really don't fly when the guy at Vanderbilt's doing what he's doing in year one.
How about Missouri?
Came over to your house and kicked your ass.
Missouri went 0-18. They've already won 6 games in the conference. He brought in 9 transfer guys in the portal. And then let's throw in the other thing. Look, we don't pull the.
And by the way, I like everybody on that staff. I mean, they got some great people on that staff. Coach McMahon's a great guy. I mean, again, but I keep saying this every week. It's like, you know, sooner or later we got to get past the point where every conversation we feel like we got to say, I like Matt McMahon. He's a nice guy.
But
yeah, right. All right.
Well, look, that's why the ladies give you a little bit more enjoyment. Oh, by the way, at Missouri tomorrow night, 6:30. On Saturday, LSU men host Ole Miss at 7:30. And then Sunday, I know you're not that big an NFL fan. I don't know where the Super Bowl race for you, but Sunday, LSU ladies hosting Tennessee, 3 o'clock. Watch that game. You'll have a chance to get home and watch the Super Bowl in New Orleans on Fox at 5:30, Philadelphia, and, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. Of course, we're brought to you each and every week by Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing, and let's hear from them.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There it is, 855-PRIDE-16. Call them for a free roof inspection. Say TigerBait, and they're going to pay for it. You have TigerBait Premium free for a year. You can't beat it. Commercial or residential roofs. Of course, Crown Metal, the acquisition a few years ago. Metal roofs, like Buddy talks about, are huge. See a lot of metal roofs and a lot of residential. And I think they really, the look of them, I really like what I've seen. It's particularly the stuff that Pride's doing. Of course, Mike Faraday's a Broadmoor High and an LSU grad, and I've known him my entire life. Fine people. And main office in Hammond, big on the North Shore, new office in Baton Rouge, Houma, New Orleans. They've got you covered all throughout the Baton Rouge area and southeast Louisiana.
Really good people. We talk about a job well done is a job done by Pride, with Pride. They're going to make you have pride. We've had a lot of people give them an opportunity. It's not just getting a new roof. It's talking about what you need to do, your insurance adjuster. What about your coverage? All the things. They've got all the answers. It doesn't cost you a nickel. Free roofing inspection, 1-855-PRIDE-16. If you tell them Mike or Buddy sent you over, Mike Faraday gets personally involved. Give him an opportunity. Great people, locally owned, big-time players in the community. And once again, we're not going to be on TV every 30 minutes with a silly commercial, but we do what we say we're going to do, and that's why you'll have great pride.
Guys, I know the clarity's off. AT&T came out here yesterday, changed some wires, been running 1,000 up, 1,000 down, and all of a sudden it's wanted to act up at 6 o'clock this evening. So bear with us. We've already reset it once. Why it's choosing to do what it's doing now, I have no idea, but AT&T is going to get here an earful tomorrow.
Technical issues I had a little bit today as well. You got to plod through them. It's like when you line up and you script the first 15 plays and you get to the 5-yard line and you're doing great things and you have a fumble. Well, guess what? You got to regroup. You got to audibilize and let it go. So hang in there with us, but exciting times ahead. This is going to be, I'm going to call it right now, this is going to be a very good year for LSU athletics in 2025. And I'll say it right now. BK, now that he's bringing Alex Atkins in as his tight ends coach and his run game coordinator, Tim Rattay, all of the analysts coming in, I think this is going to be the best staff he's had ever at LSU. Now, this is year 4, but I really think, and he did talk about the young man from Grambling with special teams, said there's going to be another special teams guy to come in and help. So I think he is
throwing out all the stops to get to 10-2.
He's checked all the boxes, but everybody knows
playoffs are bust.
Playoffs are bust, and you got to win that first game against Clemson. You just have to. All
right, let's dive. We haven't gotten any comments, and we're at the 14-minute mark. Fizz Buzz, the GMA segment on Brooks was quite sad. I hope Greg can recover enough to live a comfortable life. Dane Bergeron, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Yes, we know the stream. Coach Ken says, I remember Buddy gave me a cap at the Bash back in the day.
The good old days.
Yep. Let's see. Quarterback from Baton Rouge committed. Picarella from UHI, preferred walk-on. They need him. We couldn't get an answer today from BK on time frame for Colin Hurley. So we'll see how they divvy up the passing at spring football. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, Emil Picarella, of course, came over from the state of Mississippi, was a quarterback for Andy Martin and the UHI Cubs the last couple of years. And look, he's the guy that's going to be a camp arm and help them because, as we know, with Nussmeier and Michael Van Buren, those guys will be 1-2, as we said. I don't think Colin Hurley is going to probably be back for spring, but I'm sure they hope to get him back shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I think if he would have thought there was a chance for spring, he would have said
that. Yeah, and so you need a couple of guys. You don't want to have too many sore arms. But first week of spring ball, March 8th, they practice 5 times that particular week. And don't forget, if you go to the spring game, you care about it, April the 12th. And this thing is usually on Saturday, but it generally is a lot of vanilla. So we'll have you those reports I haven't figured out the times on. Do you remember if we go afternoon or early in spring? Was that 7:30 in the morning? Or was that afternoon for spring practice? I can't remember. I had a glitch in my phone.
I think we went early.
Yeah. So
yeah. All right. Fizzbuzz, to be honest, I don't know if McMahon is a problem or if LSU basketball is a problem. Maybe we just have a low ceiling and it's rare to hit your ceiling. I've just always thought that LSU men's basketball, with particularly since Skip Burtman arrived and did what he did and elevated the program in the 90s, and football being the king. Now you've got Kim Mulkey that sucks a lot of oxygen out of the room. That LSU men's basketball is like Arkansas football. You need to have a Houston Nutt and a Bobby Petrino that's going to be, give you some sizzle somehow to cut through. McMahon's just not that guy. It's, yeah.
Look, I beat him up last year about a couple things that are still taking place this year, and people got upset with me. Are you being rough and tough on McMahon? Bottom line is their offensive philosophy and execution on offense is just putrid. He doesn't have a great knack of playing the hot player, and he lets these guys, specifically the guards, turn it over and over. I've got the over and under tonight with 18 turnovers. If they go to Georgia tonight and only turn it over 10 times, they got a chance to win.
My thing is Will Wade was that guy. To me, you have to have a Bruce Pearl type here.
You got to have a charismatic coach, and of course, that now poses a question: are you still hearing that Will Wade's going to get?
Or someone who's going to talk about chasing Bigfoot?
Yeah, but but do you think Will Wade gets a big job next year?
I think so.
Yeah, and of course, I've talked to a few people at Texas. Said it's not a slam dunk there.
I'm hearing it's not Texas.
No, so it's not Texas.
But I know that's one he'd love.
But his show cause is done, and so that is going to infuriate the problem even more. A lot of people say, okay, you made a mistake with man. He's going to be done with show cause. Let's go ahead and tell everybody we need a mulligan and made a mistake. I was calculating a little bit the numbers. We're talking about $30 million. You're talking about $10 million or more to pay off McMahon and his staff. And then you're talking about Will Wade. He's going to command a 5-year deal, $4 million a year. And I'm just talking ballpark. You're talking 30 to 35 million. And that's where you got to have sugar daddies to come in here and pay some of that money off. But look, we're pulling for Matt McMahon, but he's got to find lightning in a bottle here this last back go around of the SEC.
Absolutely. All right, Genesis of Lafayette, of course, our great partnership with the one of the greatest car dealerships in the South. Genesis of Lafayette is a premier luxury dealership offering the finest cars and SUVs in the region, coupled with the best service anywhere. Genesis of Lafayette has a huge inventory of new and certified pre-owned Genesis vehicles. For a truly first-class automotive experience, it's Genesis of Lafayette, 6600 Johnson Street, right off Broussard, near the Broussard intersection. And they're going to exceed your expectations. Shop with them online, genesisoflafayette.com, or call them at 877-856-2961 and tell them TigerBait sent you. And that GV70 and that silver color that you see right there, the missus has one of those in the garage, that exact one. And although she didn't get that interest rate right there, she did not get. But 2.9, that came out this month, 2.9% for 60 months. You cannot beat that. That is a great offer from Genesis of America, their in-house Genesis Motor Finance. Give them a call. Clearly, that's one of the best small luxury vehicles, and they're really priced right. They undercut Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and the interiors on those things is second to none.
Very safe and secure car and vehicle saved Tiger Woods' life. Of course, Tiger Woods lost his mom last night. The golf league on ESPN, man, I don't know if you've seen any, but it is incredible on the the technology of it, but they're a big sponsor of that.
Hal Jubin says Will Wade is not coming back, nor should he. Yeah, I know he's not coming back, but Hal, what was your take on that loss Saturday night? How acceptable is that?
Well, I think people sometimes perceive when we make a comment, we're not sitting here saying that Will Wade should come back. You probably have better opinions.
My point is
about Will than I do.
My point is I'm just looking down the line. Okay. We love John Brady now, but he was a bear to deal with when he's a coach, and he even admits it and talks about it.
Sure.
All right. But Dale Brown was a circus ringmaster with charisma and worked the media and promotion. Trent Johnson and Johnny Jones were damp dish rags that were boring, and it was a waste of space, waste of time, waste of LSU fans' time. Joe Oliva should have had his ass kicked for those 2 hours. What else? You get to Will Wade, you get some excitement for a handful of years. Issues arise, and now you're at where you're at. Is Matt McMahon? Can he be the guy? Can he pull it out? I don't know. There's a lot of money there. How much longer does he have? A year, 2?
I think he's got this year and next year, and then there'll be some.
Yeah, nothing's happening this year.
Tough decisions to make. But look, I had somebody so frustrated. I'd had Brady on the show, and after the big 30-point loss, guy says, "I got an idea, buddy. You and Scarborough talk about it. Let Matt McMahon do the color with Chris Blair and let John Brady coach." Of course, I sent that text over to JB. He said, "Look, of course I couldn't do that. McMahon's the coach." But he said, it's not a bad thing to talk to people when you're behind a rock and a hard place. And let's be honest right now, there is more negativity towards the men's basketball right now than at any point of the 2.5, 3-year career of Coach McMahon. And people want to see more passion. They want to see him get pissed off at his players, want to see him get pissed off at the referees. They want to see a little juice in there.
Here's the other thing. I hear, behind the scenes, a lot of hand-wringing about how much money the women's program loses.
And they do.
And, of course, the men's program makes a lot of money because of the TV contract. It doesn't matter that the PMAC for the women is full because it's going to lose no matter what.
Yeah.
I was told you could raise the ticket prices to $15 or $20 a piece. It still will not make money.
Yeah.
Because of the TV contract.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of wonder if the LSU women, based since Mulkey got here, if they were able to negotiate their own TV contract. Because, I like to know how many eyeballs are on an LSU women's game on TV versus an LSU men's game on TV.
And that's the thing you got to point out with Coach Mulkey. That is common sense. The brand that she's nationally. You talk about Kim Mulkey, and automatically everybody in the country knows she's the LSU women's basketball coach. You talk about Matt McMahon, and people struggle. She has brought that. You can't put a price on what she's brought to LSU publicity, but they do lose money. It is a loss leader program, like a lot of the other sports that aren't football or men's basketball or baseball. And so, we've asked this question many times, Mike. How important and where on the food chain does men's basketball sit with a priority? And so,
well, and that's the other part. If you want to look at whatever recruiting list you want to look at, and the top 20 basketball recruits in the country the last 3 years, so give you 60 players in the last 3 years. How many of those 60 players have been on campus for an unofficial or an official visit? Is LSU in the ballpark?
Be nice to see.
If not, come out and say we're broke and we don't want to invest that kind of money in men's basketball. That way, everybody's not going to keep pointing the finger at Matt McMahon. I know they're 15th in the league in NIL, but
I was just getting ready to say, everybody that I talk to says that they bring in anywhere from 2.2 to 2.5 million with NIL.
That's nothing.
Everybody in the conference is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Trust me, Calipari is going to have Jerry Jones giving him whatever dollars he wants for future recruits. And that's what's problematic for LSU fans. They don't see light at the end of the tunnel. But we don't want to beat Matt McMahon and his program up. But it'd be nice if they'd go steal one tonight in Georgia.
And I don't know that it's so much beating up Matt McMahon. Matt McMahon's not going to show up at a press conference and say, "Thank you, Kent." and then go lace into a diatribe about how no one's giving him any money, he can't get any players, and all that kind of stuff. That's just not his style, and no coach would do that. But I think Bayou traditions and those are trying to implore people to get out there. But again, to me, it's what comes first. How can you convince somebody to pull out their wallet if they're not just enthused about Matt McMahon? I don't know how you do that. I think they say they want to get donors to practice, and I do agree with that. I mean that's where I really liked, I don't want to say fell in love with Matt McMahon, but when you watch him coach his players, that he is as genuine as it gets, and I like the way he interacts with his players. But I mean, we're hearing Corey Chess is going to get pulled away with big dollars, and there ain't nothing else she's going to be able to do about it.
Terrell Ward, of course, decided that don't know how that came about, but they couldn't agree. Don't know if they reneged on what they told him they paid, but he's hadn't played. He's going to get in the portal. Jalen Reed got hurt. He's a junior, and more than likely he's going to go pro. And then, of course, the three guys, Givens and Miller, Robert Miller III and Victorious Miller, we'll see if he can stay, but got to get a little continuity and got to finish some games. They've been close. Played good against Auburn, but then to get beat, they were 1.5 point underdog against Texas and got beat by 30. So tough road to go. That all being said, Brian Kelly in the portal and spending money, Kel Mulkey in the portal, spending money along with 4 or 5 stars coming in, and Jay Johnson never sleeping in the portal. How about this, folks, in case you did not hear? How about the motivation that his ball club got today? Coaches voted on SEC. Everybody in the country saying LSU's 2, 3, or 4. SEC coaches voted. A&M 1, Tennessee 2, Arkansas 3,
Jay
LSU
Johnson
4. Coach Johnson has all the bulletin board material that he wants.
If they would have put him 7th, he'd love it. He was moonwalking.
And they are flat loaded. We'll start talking more baseball, but everybody should know Daniel Dickerson's going to be a superstar. Incredible amount of pitching depth. Milam's going to play on the left side of the infield, whether it be at third or short. Braswell will be next to him. And, of course, Jared Jones back at first base, about 4 catchers. And I went through 6 or 7 outfielders that all bring plenty to the table, including Derek Curiel, who was a guy that they got to turn down the money and come. And so I'm really thinking that if you're one of those men or women or kids that want to go to Omaha, I think you're going to get a chance.
Who's your favorite returning player?
Oh, man, that is tough.
Milam's mine. I love that. I love that.
Monster Man is tough to not to be the favorite, but Jared Jones, man, he's going to hit 30 bombs this season and probably lead LSU in home runs. But we'll wait to see. But pitching galore, Chase Shores, all the guys, and then we got to figure out what's going to happen with Gavin Guidry. He wants to be a starter, but right now they have not determined their roles just yet.
All right, I'm going to read Carl's deal, and then I need to talk Struby's. But he says, Carl the Cat, Saturday was one of the most disappointing games in the PMAC in the last few years, especially in front of the alumni.
Congratulations, Carl the Cat did retire from his regular job, moved up to number 22 on the high school officials rating this year. So he moved up a couple spots. And so, Cat, we happy that you're doing well. Cat goes to those games. Once again, you talk about a loyal fan. He still goes to those games. But, man, my phone blew up after that loss to Texas. And so, look, we don't want to harp on that tonight, but gosh, it'd be nice to say all this criticism spurred them on to pull an upset 8 o'clock tonight at Georgia. And watch the dribble drive penetration, watch the number of turnovers. And, of course, now if they make 3 balls, they got a chance to be in this game. But tough. The SEC is so good in basketball this year, Mike.
All right, Struby's, one of the finer steakhouses and restaurants in Baton Rouge. And all of our TigerBait live shows are proudly brought to you by Struby's Seafood Steaks, located at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Struby prides itself on providing a 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price, locally owned, and really a great menu. You got to go to Strubys.com, look at the menu, and you'll see. We talk about the steaks, of course, all the time. The New York strip, the Wagyu New York strip, and the red dry aged pork chop, the lobster pasta, and much more. But they've got a lot more than that. A lot of signature dishes. Check out Strubies.com. Again, 107 3rd Street, and tell them TigerBait sent you in. Really, one of the better restaurants here in Baton Rouge. And of course, Alumni Hall. Got to get over there and see the folks in Perkins Row. Best place to get all your officially licensed LSU gear. Ultimate shopping destination for LSU fans. They've got it all. Nike. They've got all the LSU baseball gear is off the charts. I posted something on the front page of TigerBait. Head over there. I've got all the LSU items, all the jerseys, the new hats for the 25 season, the pullovers, the polo shirts. I've got them all in one place on the front page of TigerBait.com, so you can get your LSU gear. And I've got it listed there. Use code TigerBait, and you're going to get 10% off. And you're always going to get free shipping on orders over $99. And but if you want to go in the store and touch it and feel it and try it on, use that code TigerBait at the register, and you're going to get 10% off in person too. So head over to Alumni Hall and tell them TigerBait sent you. All right, let's get some more comments. Dr. Butler says LSU needs players that you enhance who you can already play. You can't win the Kentucky Derby coaching a donkey. Yeah.
Well, look, we know that there's not a lot of talent, but there was 1.5 point underdogs at home to Texas, and that thing was out of control early. So I hope it gets better, but quite frankly, this year is a wash with most of the fans. Like Carl the Cat says, you go over there, you got all these people in the building, and then you lay an egg. And of course, as we know, because of the tournament, men's basketball will make a nice profit. I hadn't looked at the PL from last year, but generally 2.5 to 3 millions on the good side of things. Football, as we know, let's just say it, folks. He has roster built like he had never done before, and I think that Coach Kelly realizes that he's going to have to shape the chemistry in that locker room with a lot of new players. And Mansour Delane is the guy that he was bragging about. You know, he's probably the most experienced corner, and he's already coming over here and helping these young guys. DJ Pickett, going to be hard for him not to start. We can go all through those numbers, but I said this last year, and I guess it worked, but I'm going to say it again. LSU, I think, takes another step in the right direction with their defense this year, and I'm really excited to see those edge rushers in working with Kevin Peoples here in about another month.
John Silly Butler, Dr. Butler says, TV contracts, you were right. The Tigers just need to do better. LSU has never been a basketball school. Only a few alums really care. You know, I tell the story all the time. I think growing up in Baton Rouge, born and raised here, I was a bigger LSU basketball fan than I was football in my formative years. I mean, I grew up in the heyday of Dale Brown, cut my teeth in the PMAC. I was there for Kenny Higgs and sitting right in the corner there, across from the behind the bench. And I was there for Dwayne Scales and Rudy Macklin and the 81 team. Went to Dale Brown basketball camp, 7th grade, same year as Ben McDonald went.
So excited. You mentioned Rudy Macklin came over with Ron Abernathy as high school coach. Let's see if you remember. First game as a Tiger. How many rebounds and against two?
It was 20-something, wasn't it?
32 against Tulane. It's still a record. And Rudy's
at
still
6'7".
And 6'7". But man, you're talking about the Cookie Man and Willie
all
Sims
of
and Ethan Martin,
Howard Carter.
The astronaut Dwayne Scales, man, was fun to watch. Of course, an agent tampered with him, and that got
the Green brothers.
So and look, I made one of those trips. I had a great sponsor at the time, going all the way to Boise, Idaho.
Derek Taylor, his daddy was my coach at Sherwood Junior High School.
There you go.
But yeah, it's.
So there's some history.
I went through the years, man, and LSU basketball was that was a tough ticket, man. I reached out to Danny Broussard at St. Thomas More to see, because I remembered back to the late 80s, Dale Brown took his team with Shaq and Chris Jackson and Stanley Roberts and did like a purple and gold scrimmage at St. Thomas More and Lafayette's gym. And I was asking if they had film of that. I mean, can you imagine? And he didn't have it. He was kicking himself for not having footage. So I reached out to a buddy of mine, Faust over at KLFY to see if he had it. That they had people wrapped around the building to see that. There was huge interest in LSU men's basketball.
Well, look, bud,
camping out overnight down the ramps.
They put 35, 40,000 at some of these places and broke the record. The Shoetown game, Georgetown, and all those big games.
I mean, I was a student at USL. I had all my USL frat brothers piled in my living room on a Tuesday night to watch Jefferson Pilot, Chris Jackson. I mean, man, there was huge interest. And then you've had a few little spurts here and there, right? The Strohmile years,
by
the
the way,
Davis
that's
years.
what Carl the Cat was talking about. They celebrated 25 years,
right?
This past weekend, and Strohmile and all those guys. Brandon Landry had a big shindig over at Walk-Ons, and so you go back. It's hard to believe it's 25 years, first of all. And then Will Wade has some great moments. Will Wade, and I think that's why the young people and a lot of the fans like Will Wade. He brought a P&V and a fire and a passion, and that's not what
I just don't buy that LSU men's basketball is what it is, and it's never going to be good.
Yeah. Well, if the Missouri guy can go get 9 transfer portal guys and go from 0-18, and they're going to probably win 10 games in the conference, it can be done. But we're pulling for Coach McMahon, but he's got to change some things up. This is not working what they're trying to do right now.
Yep. Kevin Winslow, good evening, Mike and Buddy. I read Coach Mulkey dropped out of the #1 recruit race because of 1 million NIL deals asked for. I'm glad Coach didn't take that demand. Yeah, it was actually 1.5 million for Chavez. I think I saw the other day the finalists are Texas Tech, Texas, South Carolina, and one other. It's my hunch that she'll end up at Texas Tech.
I was going to say they're spending the big money.
Texas won't pay that, even though they can. They won't.
Yeah, Texas Tech spent a bunch of money the last couple of years. I forgot they've got
they gave $2 million for a softball pitcher.
Yeah, exactly.
The girl that eliminated Beth Torina's team last year.
They're very serious about it. So we'll see.
Yeah, she went and got 3 players. That was the right call by Coach Mulkey and her staff.
And you know what, just to tie in, I mean, you and I have never mentioned this, but in retrospect, it wasn't that bad a thing losing Bryce Underwood, because look at all the players that they brought in here. You could not have spent that much money on 15 other players at Bryce Underwood.
Well, she'll be fine.
But I'm just saying, sometimes you got to let the super high ones go for the benefit of your team.
But we could do a whole show over the years of signing day misses, the misses, the guys that made you sick, Landon Collins, whatever you want to do, go down the line. Gerald Willis. Even Joe McKnight, as great as he was of a running back, it's not like LSU's running backs were not any good those years. Lost Landon Collins, had great safeties those years. It became DBU during that time span. Really came into its own.
Interesting that you mentioned running backs. I'm chomping at the bit to see how Caden Durham looks in a month, chomping at the bit to see Harlan Berry. This kid is going to be very heavily involved in the passing game, in the slot, out in space. And, of course, I know you're a big fan of JT Lindsey and what he's come in as a sleeper. And so we'll wait to see what happens. But, look, folks, as we know, LSU brand in football, Mike, and I don't watch the Pro Bowl, because it's crazy. It used to be touch. Now they're going to flag football. Put Burrow and all those receivers and everybody over there. LSU got so much pub on this Sunday with the skills and everything else. You can't put a price on that. So LSU football, this is what we're trying to say. LSU football is going up. A lot of pressure to win. LSU baseball is still at the top. Women's basketball is still at the top. And so we want to see if basketball can start to move up a little bit. Gymnastics at the top. I mean, LSU's got a hell of a lot of good programs. I mean,
yep.
The fans are spoiled.
Yep, absolutely. All right, everybody. Dykes Electrical, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a brand new 10-story office building, we can wire that. 200,000 square foot warehouse you need built, we can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, we can wire that. Changing out a breaker, whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle in your home or office, we can wire that. Upgrading the old lighting in your home or office, we can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. Make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And I tell you what, Dykes Electrical, a Louisiana Baton Rouge company, and huge LSU fans there. And if you go and see some of the big jobs that they've done, what an impressive outfit. I know Preston said he had some electrical problems in his house that never could get resolved. They came over there and got it fixed in an hour and a half, and his whole house is running to perfection now. So think of Dykes Electrical when you need anything electrical, whether it's your residential or commercial. Yeah, John Smith, the Pro Bowl has become unwatchable. Barry Barbie, LSU basketball needs immediate overhaul from top to bottom. Can him now and start negotiating with Scott Drew.
That's so funny. I'm not.
Man, Baylor would just absolutely just. I mean, I saw Baylor just took one of their staffers in football. Man, Baylor's would be sick of LSU, huh?
Well, I think it's fool's gold. I mean, come on. Why would Scott Drew leave what he's got over at Baylor to come to LSU? I think that's we all want to have those kind of pipe dreams.
Have they moved in their new arena yet?
What's that?
Have they moved into that new arena? Is this their first year in it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, every LSU fan says, "Let's go get this guy. No, get this guy."
Oh yeah, never works out.
This is a problem right now. It's
hard. It's been a long string of mid majors.
Yeah, it's hard to sell LSU basketball right now.
Yeah, I mean Calipari going to Arkansas. That's so rare.
But like we said earlier, you're not talking about chump change to make a change.
It's kind of like BK coming from Notre Dame to here. That is, or Jimbo going from Florida State to A&M. Who's been involved in those?
Woody.
Yeah. Carl Dunn says, time to bring back the bash. This early signing period stinks. Yeah, we had nothing today, didn't we, Carl?
Well, this is not the early signing period. This is the second signing period.
Yep.
And I'm wondering, of course, this thing is such a changing thing. We got to see if revenue sharing gets rubber stamped. They had the judge said there's still a lot of lawsuits that they've got to finalize. I'm sure Tiger Shark can get into the legal aspect of it. But once you get into revenue sharing, that will start going into play in July if it works out. But look, you say can it and blow it up and start from you got to pay off McMahon and his staff. Then you got to pay a new guy coming in for 4 or 5 years for big money, whether it's $4 or $5 million a year. So I don't know if Woody's got $30-something million hanging around. Do you?
No.
And after they're strapped with Kelly's contract, I just think that you're going to have to be patient, and we'll see. It does seem like it's not a priority in the grand scheme of things as far as making a move right now, though.
Right. Carl the Cat Dunn says LSU has a player in the Super Bowl for 24 straight seasons. Yeah, that's an ongoing record, isn't it?
Andre Sam and Ty Davis Price are with the Philadelphia Eagles. They are both on the practice squad, and if the Eagles take down Mahomes and the Chiefs, then they will get a Super Bowl ring. But yeah, 24 consecutive years, and that's the longest streak for anybody in college.
Dane Bergeron, I feel like I'm on a 2-week drunk in college watching this show. Yeah, I know it's blurry, but yeah, AT&T is going to get a nice call tomorrow. All right, Capital City Grill. Yeah, y'all need to go over there. It's a great lunch and brunch spot, and fantastic food. Club sandwiches, hamburgers. I love the Sunday brunch. You got to get over there. 100 Lafayette Street. Your ideal lunch dinner stop for casual dining. They feature a variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pasta. Almost everything on the menu is priced at $30 or below. And head over there, particularly, look, there's a lot of people come in town for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Go over there in the morning on Sunday before the Sunday game and eat Sunday brunch over at Capital City Grill. It's one of the best in town. The chicken and waffles is to die for, and be a nice meal before yeah, you certainly want to load up at Capital City Grill. Don't go to the Alex Box on an empty stomach, because the concession prices are as high as taking your kid to Disney World.
Hey, outdoor seating. The patio is really hopping right now with all this great weather. Girlfriend and her daughter went out there. It was super crowded. They ended up talking with the bartender, ate at the bar. Great food. And look, Mike always talks about the sweet stuff. Very, very consistent. Gotten something for everybody. But chicken and waffles is as good as it gets in this town.
The chicken must not be frozen, because it's tender and juicy. Good, really, really good stuff. Dane Bergeron says, Mike, I'll be in Baton Rouge next week for Police Jury Convention. I will go to Capital City Grill. I'd love to link up with you and Buddy there. We might be able to line that up. We'll see. It's that opening weekend, though, is going to be tough. Valentine's weekend.
I'm going to get him a bottle of Dr. Daniels when I meet him. So make sure he gets me the right.
That's all I put on. He's actually he drinks white wine.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I always thought he had a relationship with Dr.
Yeah,
Daniels.
he's actually a rosé guy.
Okay.
Bergeron. While he listens to his ABBA tunes. All right. Anything else you want to add on the way out?
Hey, just want to say a special shout out to my doctor. Look, I picked up Dr. Michael Hike in the transfer portal. Had some issues with my eyes. Mike's been saying for 2 years, get those darn things taken care of. And so he took care of me on Monday. Shout out for Eye Medical Center and the job they did for me. And I am already seeing a lot better. And so appreciate him. And don't forget about Man Defined Meats when you go to your local supermarket and deli. Make that decision. It's a no-brainer. If you get spicy, we got the spicy stuff. You like all of the different products. And, of course, we know I like the green onion. Chico and others like the hot. When you do that, folks, support locally owned and operated, and where flavor and spice really do say it all.
All right, everybody. We'll be back next week with a better internet situation. This has me furious. They were here a half a day yesterday. I'm telling you, I had 1,000 upload, 1,000 download with AT&T fiber, and now for it to act up today is hacking me off. But we'll get that fixed for next go around. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. And go to TigerBait.com and subscribe. We'd like to have you as a premium subscriber. I'm on the message boards day and night. You can post your questions there. Got a lot of great guys on that message board to mingle with. And we love to have you as a part of that community on TigerBait.com. $1, you can try us out for a week. And again, choose that annual package if you go there. All right, everybody. Good night. Thanks again, buddy.
See you next week, everybody.